it's a simple function. Y equal -6.
Jack on. Yeah, Kwam, so sorry for like getting here. So I was just
No.
curious to see like MyTar in action, because I did the project, but I know I can improve a lot. So, and I mean, get to know people from Kazakhstan when I always see them on Zulip, and it's cool to get to know them too.
Yes, of course. How
Yeah.
is everybody?
Yeah, fine. Like, Talgat, how are you?
Good.
You have nice head. Like, it seems to like Kwamas. Like, seems looks. No.
Good evening.
Like a Street Fighter character or something.
Oh, I forgot.
Okay, so first, it's a very good idea that you should not hesitate as students from Quant or any other schools to join the different chat coding session around the world. I think we have a lot to learn from each other, from Canada to Kazakhstan, from Ukraine to Nigeria. So there is a lot to learn from each other. So I think it's a good idea to jump from session to session, and you should not hesitate to do that.
Yeah, and I think it's good to learn from Kwame. You know.
Always.
Okay.
Okay.
So today, because Gabriel is here, we're gonna do a MyTar, but without any loop.
Okay.
No, I'm joking. I'm joking. We can do it. Huh? So I have to start an upskill. Do code session. Oh, I have a season 1 something. MyTar. Go to do code. But the idea here is not to do the MyTar, because like the students have to do it. So so Gabriel, I'm sorry, but I will not use like a specific technique to do a MyTar. It's just like to show a bit about how to think about MyTar and doing that, because you already did it, no, my guess. Okay. So MyTar, submit files, a MyTar on a Makefile. So there is 2 types of people, okay? Usually when you start like that, you know it's completely false, okay? You cannot put people in 2 classes. This is completely false, okay? But roughly that's the idea, okay? So I would like to know, Bob, for example, what is your reaction the first day you receive a new washing machine for your laundry with a lot of buttons? What you do?
The first thing I read manual, like, or like
Okay.
I mean, there are like 2 types of, like, you know, behavioral. First, like, is sophisticated. You try to open the dictionary manual and try to fix how to, like, yeah, how it works. But the second, like, the most people do is they just like they turn on the button and read the manual when they broke the washing machine.
So exactly, okay, so it's exactly what I was waiting for. So you have like different type of behaviors, okay, but roughly that's the idea. So usually myself, okay, I have broke a lot of times the washing machine. Okay, so roughly when I receive it, I touch everything, okay, and suddenly, so just for information, by the way, my mom bought a washing machine when I was young, and the washing machine had the serial port. Okay, so I was like 12 or 13 years old, and I see that serial port, and that serial port can connect to my computer. My mother had a computer, so I connect the washing machine. I brought the computer down. It was not a laptop, it was a desktop computer. I brought it down to the laundry and I turn it on and I connect the washing machine to the serial port to the computer. And I tried to read what's happened inside the serial port, and I received data and I didn't know what is. And so I tried to push data on my side. So roughly what I did is like I completely destroyed the firmware of the washing machine. So the washing machine was not functional anymore, and my mom was not happy. So anyway, so there is like, so this is MyTar. The fun part with MyTar is like it's, so it's even a larger project than the one you did before. So you have the Bootcamp C, you did MyPrintf, my guess you did MyLS, and after you have like those two projects that are Readline and MyBlockchain and then Core. So roughly, what shows that line is there is a progression in the kind of knowledge you have to go from a project to another one, where MyTar is kind of parallel to MyLS, okay? In fact, MyLS and MyTar have a lot of similarities, a lot, okay? And that's why they are like that. It's just like it's slightly different, okay? So, personally, I love that project when I did it myself 2 decades ago. More than 2 decades, slightly more. 23 years ago, I think. Something like that. Maybe more. I don't know. Why? Because I think it's like LS and printf. I think it's demystify a lot what's happening for you on the computer. Means like suddenly you used to use, but that's really not really true with printf, because you are the kind of students that did not learn through printf. But you have to understand, like people like me in the 80s and 90s, when we had to learn to code in C, they never teach you by starting by put C, by put strlen, this kind of things. You use them and you have no idea what they are doing, okay? I remember very well the first time I said to myself, but how they did like ASCII to integer, for example, okay? It was for me like, wow, you know, they transform strings in integer, and somewhere behind you say like, it's kind of magic. And it's exactly what we don't want from you, okay? We don't want you to think like there is something that is magic. There is strictly no magic at all, okay? And you can do it. And the funny part with star is like, usually you use star, okay? Because it's a command that is very used everywhere, okay? As soon as you have to do backup, archive, of course, transfer file, you use star everywhere. And basically the idea here is for you to create your own tar, MyTar, of course, and to be able to have like interaction with the real tar. So it's kind of fun to create your own archive, for example, and be able to extract it using the tar archive. And this basically will ask you to have a very strong understanding of how to read the information about the system. So that's why it's on purpose. For example, we gave you these kind of things, okay? Because the fun part, it's like, it looks like exactly what you will have to do tomorrow. And I can tell you the website is now like way more fun than on my, than 25 years ago. GNU. They don't. It's the first time I see there is like something red on the website and some blue. Ooh, like they did the strong work on the UX and the design. Okay. Says that the message is going to disappear. Okay. Okay. So, and it's something that you have to read, and you have to learn how to read the information on yourself. When you will have to write documentation, you will write the documentation the same way. So basically, it's a standard way where two guys in computer science talk to each other. Okay. So the question here is, my guess, like at least you have understand what to what do MyTar? So basically, you have a different file 1. You can have like file 2. I don't know why I do that this way. I can just do it here. Okay, and using tar, basically using tar, you're gonna be able to create an archive from those files. Okay, so what is an archive? So you can see like each file is 13 octet long, okay, 13, 13, 13. So it's each character here. I should have like my guess. Okay, so each file is 13 character, and each character is an octet. So I have like 13 in size here. And the idea is to be able to have all those files in only one, and when you create the archive. So basically, for example, if I do okay. So now, basically, he puts all the file inside this archive. Okay. So I can manipulate the archive. So for example, let's say I create a directory here. So I'm in TMP. I can take my archive. So for example, let's say like I have sent it by mail to someone, the guy downloaded it, okay? So now he's got that, okay? And he can extract here. And when he extracts, he gets back the 3 different files, okay? Of course, with the data inside. If you remove the data, it's not fun enough, okay? Okay, so the idea is, the question we have, of course, is, because there is no magic, how they did that. So that someone has an idea how to imagine you are the software engineers, like you have like, we ask you to create a command that does that. How you do this? So you have like the 3 files here, and at the end, you must have like only 1 file. So that someone get an idea.
think Talgat has idea how to do it.
Oh, I guess we have to open each of the files and read bytes from them and write it in one file, tar, and add to that file some specifications that will allow system to recognize it as tar file.
Okay, so let's say like so let's say this is like inside my file. Okay, so this is like res.tar. Okay, what I'm gonna find here? What is your idea?
Contents of files.
So you have the content of file 1.
File 1, yes.
Okay, so you have the content.
Then some delimiter.
Okay, some delimiter.
Contents of next file, and so on.
Okay, like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So is someone see any limitation to this?
Yeah, there is a limitation for the memory allocation. Like, there is the head and the tail, approximately 258, 56. I can't remember exactly what.
Okay, what is the example? What is the problem for you? Explain to me again, so I can write what you are saying.
Like each file in the tar
Yes.
generally have the restrictions for the memory.
What you call the restriction?
The memory restriction.
What is the memory restriction?
256. I can't remember the name of this.
The memory size? What?
Yeah, kind of this.
I don't see what you are talking about. You can create files of the size you want. So there is no specific restriction to the size of a file.
Yes.
So you can create a tar with the size you want. There is no, I don't see any restriction here.
But I read in the basic tar, like was restriction.
Okay.
So I remember.
You say about that?
No, can you open the GNU tar? Yeah. Here, the size blocking factor. Size.
512.
Yeah.
The block size here?
Yeah, this one.
Okay. Yeah, it's correct. But how to say that we don't care a lot about it inside that exercise. That's a correct answer, Juana. But here, because like you can change it with some option like -b, where in your project here, okay, you don't have this kind of options. Okay, so you have like mostly C to create the archive, R to append new files in the archive, T to list the archive content, U and X. Okay, so you see what I mean? You don't have to manage like too much options. Here, the idea is just to have something that is kind of compatible, and it's good. You don't have to do like the whole part.
Okay.
It's like for optimization of the speed to create the archives, this kind of things, because it used to be used. Okay. So for you, okay, that's normal. Okay, you write things only on hard drives. Okay, but on my days, we could have to write things on tapes, for example. Okay,
Mhm.
and the idea is different. It means like you know how it structures, this kind of thing is different. So you could adapt, okay, to each media to do things faster. But for you, it's there is no problem. Okay, so does someone else has an idea about a restriction about that, or this is working?
I think Oleg like has an idea. Yeah, and Alan, they like Oleg.
Sorry, what's the question?
Alec is in this car. He's in the traffic jam in Almaty. It will not work.
Sorry, I lost connection. What is the question?
The question here is like I have wrote like what has been proposed to solve the TAR, and the question is like, is there any restriction? Does it work or not? But if you can read my screen or not, it depends. If you don't see it, it's going to be difficult.
Yeah, I see the screen, but no idea. Sorry.
Okay. So when you open a file, okay, where do you start? Usually.
From the first byte.
Okay. Okay. So here, when you're going to start, okay, you have you're going to see the first file, okay? And you're going to read it, okay? So let's say, like, for example, he has a size of 24, okay? This one has a size of 12, and this one has a size of 45. Okay, so the question is like, you're going to read the content of the file, okay? I'm talking about like when you're going to extract. What is the issue when you're going to extract that?
The issue might be that the properties of the files have to be saved as well.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So exactly, because for example, if there is like specific properties to the file, so let's say like let's take a specific properties that is okay. So this is a specific properties, okay, which is like what is the mode on the file. And I go on here and I have lost the properties. So if here, for example, if I do no, I didn't lose the properties. I just used the wrong one. Okay. So you see, so I'm in TMP right now. Okay. So in TMP, we can see that the file has those properties and the real file has that property. So the TAR has slightly changed the properties of the file. Okay. So basically, he has removed the writing option on it. So there is an option that is called P. Where you keep the properties of the file when you create it. You see? Now I have RWX, RWX, RWX. But it means like to know that I need, of course, the properties of each file. Okay? Because if I don't get them, I cannot recreate the file with those kind of things. Okay?
Okay.
There is another big restriction, slightly problematic, if you use exactly that format inside your tar file. Can you see it? In fact, at the beginning, okay, you're gonna read the first part are the properties, for example, okay, or the file, and you're gonna start to read it. The issue is like, you don't know when you're gonna have to stop because you don't know the size of the file before starting, okay? So in fact, it's better, okay, to have a delimiter strictly at the beginning, okay, where you can store some information about the file that you're gonna extract. And typically inside those properties, inside that delimiter, maybe, for example, you can store the property of the files. Maybe you can store the size of the file. Okay. So roughly when you're gonna, this is when you're gonna read that, okay, you're gonna be able to have like a structure that is called properties when you have all the properties of the file, and you can have the size. So you know that you can jump at that position. You have to read until you reach that position plus the size of the file, and you know that it's the beginning of the next delimiter. You understand what I say? Even if you want, you can store the address of the next delimiter. So for example, when you read, like, when you have to read, like, what is, when you see the option T, excuse me, you just show the output. So basically you show the files that is inside the archive. So how you're gonna do that? It's like you're gonna be to your delimiter, you're gonna read the file properties. Its name, typically, is a property. Okay. And then you print it. You look for the address of the next delimiter. You go here, you read the delimiter, you read the properties, and so on. Okay. And you just print what's have in the archive. So the big question that we ask is like, what is the format of the delimiter and what we put inside? Okay. That's roughly the big question we have on tar. And that's why we push you here. Oh, tar header block. Is that amazing? There is a guy who already did the job for us. So you have everything that is inside the header and the size of it. Okay? So the idea is how to use this kind of things and so on. And there is like different like definition inside. I'll let you, of course, discover how lovely it is to read this kind of documentation that are amazing. Okay. So now the question is, we have to write the file and we have to write the different delimiters on this kind of things. So okay. So to do that, so you have a list of functions that you have the right to use here, okay? So there is a lot of them. We're gonna take a look on two things important here. We are talking a lot about writing, reading data from a file and removing it, okay? So here I just want to I even don't remember. Okay. You already manipulate, right? No? It's a question. Like you already used right. Yes, you use right for Pucha, at least.
Yes, of course.
Why I have like already at stdlib? Ah no. Hmm. Okay. So basically, I have wrote Poet on the archive. Okay. So this is my archive. This is called the test.file. Could have called it test.tar, but let's call it this way. Okay. So the question here is like, does someone has an idea how do we gonna write the header in the file?
Add what? Header. Header.
The header.
We can derive it from stats.
From stats? What does it mean? Oh no, just like so we know that. Okay, so I'm going to precise. We know that inside the archive we're going to start by a delimiter that we know that we're going to call header. Okay. So the question is like at the beginning of the archive, we have to write the header before writing the file by itself. Okay. So here, in fact, what I want to explore with you is how we're going to write. This is the header. Okay. And what I want to explore with you is how we're going how we're gonna put something inside the header.
Using write, we will write in the file starting from the name, then checksum, type flag, link name, magic, and so on.
Yes. So basically, you can directly use write to write a structure because like write whatever you want. Okay. So here, what we can do instead of write Poet is we can write the header, okay, for a size of the header. So what is the size of T underscore header? So T underscore header is a type def on struct POSIX header, and POSIX header is here. As you can see here, they give the size of everything. 100, 888, okay? Here, they don't use a pointer. Okay? They are using the buffer here. I even don't know if what I'm doing is going to work, but I don't think so. We will have to strcpy, I guess. In fact, we can do it. I don't remember how does it work. I'm too old, huh? Destination source. It's like bootcamp C exercise free, you know, and I don't remember. Okay. Excuse me. So what I was saying is like we know the size of the structure, okay, which is roughly, by the way, 500. Okay. So the address of that variable of that var is 0. The address of that var is 100, roughly after the 100 used for the char. The next is 108, and so on, and you can add all together, and at the end, it's a 500. Okay? So if I do that, normally, I don't like my warnings here. What is the see. So I have route inside test.file, and you see the size of it is 500. And 500, okay, is exactly the size of the structure. So I can even do a cat of that. I'm missing some option on my open. So this is a structure that I just wrote. And you can see the my name that I have put here. Okay? So even you can edit the structure by hand without any issue. You see? So why there is like crazy things wrote here? Does someone get an idea?
Because it's by default creates a 100 memory.
Exactly. So it's creating the memory, so we don't know what we get in memory. So we can initialize it, for example.
Memset.
Memset, or we're going to use the memset. It's a good idea because if we use the memset, there you say what you want to put. Let's say we're going to put A, everything, everywhere, and size of a lot of A. Okay, so it's so you understand what I did? Okay, so roughly, okay, you can create a structure and you can put things inside, you can write it, and of course, okay, the second step is to let me see. I'm gonna do, but this one I have to. Unfortunately, I have to read about like a bit about the open. Okay. So I have directly the good model. Here, I can read it and write it. Okay. So now I have write the structure. So I do so now I'm going to read it. So even I can use read only instead of create, and so I just read the structure here. Okay, so it's a second main. I do a secondary binary. Okay. I open the file. Okay, and now so now I'm going to read the file. So I do a pointer on an header, okay? And I'm going to read in the file the size of the header, and I'm going to put it inside the buffer. I did something wrong. Okay. So now I'm reading the structure for the size of the structure. Okay. I put it in my buffer, and now I can manipulate the buffer. So typically I can print the name. Okay. So I have so let's see it better. We're gonna do this way. So I can write, for example, Quam, and normally I can read it. Okay, so I can save inside a file, and then I can read from the file. So you have everything you need to do a tar. It's almost finished. You need to add a couple of while, couple of if, and it's gonna be okay. Do you have questions?
Okay, I got it. So we have to like write some loops on each of like like a header and iterate it through our files. Okay. Yeah.
So you have to understand what are inside the the POSIX header, okay? To understand. What is size, for example, this kind of things, like all the different information you have inside. Okay, there is also a magic. So all those information are here. Okay. So if I take char size here, for example, there is like information about it somewhere inside it where I don't know. Okay. What is so you have structure inside structure. You have like many things inside. Okay, you have to read how does it work. You create the header, you put the header, you put the files, you put the header, you put the files, you put the header, you put the files, you put the header, you put the files. You pass the options. If you use -C to create, -X to extract, of course. What is not a file behind, all these kind of things. And I think last time I did the options part. For example, so it's exactly like MyLS. Nothing's very different about that. So if you wrote your MyLS clean enough, you can directly reuse the parsing of the option because it's exactly the same one. Okay, just the option names are different, and so on.
Yeah, guys, if you didn't get, like, if you have questions, please ask. Don't be shy.
I have a question regarding get extra attributes. Like, I don't really understand how shall we use it?
Which attribute? Which
It's in the allowed functions. There is get x utter and list x attr. Yeah, those two. Because I've done my tar without actually using those, and because I didn't understand why do we need extended attributes for the basic tar format. Yeah, because I remember I used the basic format, which is not extended.
It's okay if it's working without. It's not a problem. Huh? It's like you don't have to use it if you don't need it. It's just like if you want to do like extended attributes for an extended tar, you can use it. But if you don't want to code the extended tar and just do like the normal tar, there is no problem. Depends like how deep you want to go.
Oh, okay, I got it. Thanks.
So there is nothing specific about that. Okay, so I don't think there is. I take this big silence for no more questions.
Okay, cool.
Sorry, I have one.
Yes, please, Talgat.
I didn't get this about the size of the header. It says that it's has to be 500 bytes, but actually it's 300 and something. What should be the size of the header?
It's 500. It's 345
yes, it's
plus 155. Because you start to count at 0.
Mm-hmm.
So 445 is here.
Yeah, I got it.
And at the end here, it's 500.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Okay, I think Baujan has a question. Baujan, are you fine? No. Okay. Okay, cool. Cool. I mean,
Okay.
yeah. Thank you, Kwame. I mean, it was like cool live coding. Our guys
So
will continue.
I don't think you need my piece of code here. You can redo it. It's not very difficult. There's like a couple of lines.
Yeah.
But I'm sure, like, because you are students, you did like screenshots of what I did. I used to do that when I was younger.
Yeah, Mirza, do you have questions? I mean, did you get like my tar well? Mirza?
No, I started this one just like yesterday. Before that, I did Redline one. So that's why I don't have questions.
Okay. You start your readline also?
Yes.
Good exercise, readline.
Mhm.
Very good exercise. It's a good exercise because it's one of the exercises that you can face in how to explain that? We have like in a computer, when you receive a certain amount of data and you don't know the size of the data you're going to receive, okay? You're going to use something like readline. And this happens like in two cases, when you have input from the keyboard, as it is for readline, but also, for example, for all the networking stuff you have to do. So let's say, like, for example, I send you a file. You don't know the size of the file when you receive it. So you have to read it. So you can use the same technique. So it's a very good exercise for that, especially when you do like advanced network coding in C or C++. Okay, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish you a good weekend. It's a Friday evening in Kazakhstan. Don't drink too much vodka and have a good night and a good weekend.
Yeah, Kwame, very thank you. I mean, it was a cool presentation and good session. Guys will complete the exercises. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks a lot, Kwame.
Welcome, and be the force with you. Bye.